Good morning, Bucknutters. It's Tuesday, November 11th, 2014. This is the BM5-ish. I'm Dan Rubin. Today we're going to take a quick and brief look at the comments made by Urban Meyer yesterday at the press conference that ESPN sensationalized and has now blown up for no reason. Who should you be rooting for as a Buckeye fan down the stretch besides your beloved Buckeyes? I've taken a look at the schedule of the teams in front of them and lay out several key games that will decide Ohio State's fate, at least the key games Ohio State will not be involved in. And lastly, we'll be joined by the Dean of Midwest Recruiting, Bill Kurelic, for the latest on why Brian Cole is such a hot prospect for the Buckeyes. At Urban Meyer's weekly presser yesterday, he addressed a question about Braxton Miller. Would Braxton come back, and said that competition is great. Several media outlets have taken this and run with it, even though we've addressed this, 500 times since it's come up after Braxton got injured. I've said this before. I do not believe Braxton will return to the fold. I think he's going to head off to try and make some cash, which I would encourage him to do. But the idea that what Meyer would say right now is going to have any weight down the road and it's not a political statement in front of a group of collected media is a falsehood. After the biggest win he's had in Columbus, the last thing Meyer's going to do is create a media scrum and come out and say JT Barrett's not going to be the starter if Braxton Miller comes back. Come on, guys. We all know that. And whatever comments are made publicly between now and then really should be taken with an enormous grain of salt. Okay, so I've taken a look at the layout here of the schedules for everyone ahead of Ohio State, and here are some key games to circle. We'll check in on this every week, and this is a fluid situation, obviously. But looking at the schedule down the road, Mississippi State, I believe they got to lose to at Alabama and at Ole Miss in 2 weeks. Oregon, the best case scenario for Oregon, I think they're going to win out. The best chance they have to get knocked out is to lose to UCLA in the Pac-12 championship game. TCU, I'm not as confident about. I really do think they're going to win out. However, at Texas on Thanksgiving night game, you will be rooting for Texas. Baylor has 3 home games left, all of which are going to be favored in. The best case scenario is Kansas State goes in there and gets the W. The SEC gets super confusing. I think we need Alabama to beat Mississippi State, then lose to Auburn in the Iron Bowl. Arizona State, we need to lose to Arizona Friday, November 28th at the home of the Fighting Rich Rods. And then we need UCLA to come out and beat Oregon, as we said earlier, in the Pac-12 title game. It gets a little confusing. I think Florida State is definitely in. There's no question about that right now as I look at the schedule. And I think one of those Big 12 teams is in really good shape. TCU is in an excellent spot right now. Obviously, it's going to be a serious challenge. And the fact that after doing this exercise, we came out needing to root for teams coached by Charlie Strong and Jim Morey Jr. did not make us feel great. We'll check in a week here and reset the landscape.
If you've been following recruiting on the front row message board, one of the hot names that we've been talking about is Michigan commitment Brian Cole, the super athlete from Heritage High School in Saginaw, Michigan. And Cole is definitely going to make an official visit to Ohio State. The 6'2", 195-pounder committed to Michigan, but with everything going on up in Ann Arbor, he has reopened his recruiting. He is still committed to the Wolverines, but he has made an official visit to Wisconsin, and then this past weekend, Cole made an official visit to Purdue. His father told me on Monday night that the visit went well, but that Brian is still going to finish out his official visits and they make a decision on who he will actually end up with. Cole will make an official visit to Nebraska the weekend of November 22nd, and he will make an official visit to Ohio State, most likely the weekend of December 13th. That is the weekend that a number of the Buckeyes verbal commitments will be making their official visits as well. Cole also will probably take an official visit to Michigan, and then Michigan State is the other school under consideration, but I think things have been seeming to trend a little bit towards Ohio State with Brian Cole. The Buckeyes are recruiting Cole as an athlete. At one point, they liked him better for defense at safety, but now they are certainly talking with him about wide receiver or maybe even running back, but personally I like him as a wide receiver or safety. But in any event, Cole would be a huge catch. Not only is he a Michigan commitment, he is the highest rated Michigan commitment, and certainly the Ohio State staff loves to take away prospects from Michigan, especially when they're as talented as Brian Cole, and he is the number one prospect in the state of Michigan in the 247 Sports rankings.